UK Monthly Expenses 2026. Rent, bills, food. Full budget guide. Did you know that living in the UK in 2026 could cost you anywhere between £1,500 to more than £3,500 every single month, depending on where you live? Over the past few years, the cost of living in the UK has changed significantly. Rent has increased in many cities, energy bills can be unpredictable, and everyday expenses like food and transportation continue to affect people's budgets. Because of this, many people who plan to move to the UK or start a new life there often ask one important question: how much money do you really need each month to live comfortably in the United Kingdom? In this video, we are going to break down the real monthly expenses in the UK in 2026. We will look at the biggest costs, including rent, utility bills, groceries, transportation, and other daily living expenses. Whether you are planning to move to the UK for work, study, or permanent settlement, understanding these costs will help you plan your budget and avoid financial surprises.
Let's start with the biggest expense for most people living in the UK, which is rent. Housing is usually the largest part of anyone's monthly budget. However, the price of rent depends heavily on the city you choose to live in. London is the most expensive city in the UK, and rent there is significantly higher than in most other areas. In London, renting a one-bedroom apartment in the city centre can cost between £1,700 and £2,300 per month. If you choose to live slightly outside the city centre, the rent may drop to around £1,300 to £1,600. Even outside central areas, London is still one of the most expensive places to live in the country.
In other large UK cities such as Manchester, Birmingham, or Leeds, rent is generally more affordable. A one-bedroom apartment in the city centre of these cities may cost around £850 to £1,200 per month. If you live outside the centre, rent can be around £650 to £900. Because rent can be expensive, many people choose shared accommodation to save money. Renting a room in a shared house or apartment is very common, especially for students and young professionals. The cost of a shared room usually ranges between £400 and £750 per month, depending on the location and the quality of the property. This option can reduce your housing costs significantly and make living in the UK more affordable.
After rent, the next important expense is utility bills. These include electricity, gas, water, and internet services. In 2026, energy bills are still a major part of monthly expenses for many households in the UK. For a small apartment, electricity and gas combined may cost around £120 to £220 per month. The exact amount depends on how much energy you use and the time of year. During winter, heating costs can increase the bill because temperatures drop and homes require more energy to stay warm. Water bills are usually more stable and often cost around £30 to £50 per month. Internet service in the UK is relatively affordable. A typical broadband package usually costs between £25 and £40 each month, depending on the speed and provider. When you combine electricity, gas, water, and internet together, the average monthly utility cost for a small household can be around £180 to £300. In some rental properties, especially shared houses, certain bills may already be included in the rent. That is why it is always important to carefully check the rental agreement before signing any contract. Another major monthly expense is food and groceries. The amount you spend on food depends greatly on your lifestyle and habits.
If you cook most of your meals at home and shop at affordable supermarkets, you can keep your food budget under control. Supermarkets like Aldi, Lidl, and Tesco are popular choices for people who want to save money on groceries. For a single person, the monthly grocery bill usually ranges between £180 and £300. Couples may spend around £350 to £500 per month, depending on their eating habits. Eating out regularly can increase your food expenses quite a lot. A basic meal at an inexpensive restaurant usually costs between £12 and £18. If two people go to a mid-range restaurant for dinner, the total bill may be around £40 to £70. Many people in the UK also enjoy coffee from cafes. Buying coffee every day from places like Starbucks or Costa Coffee may seem like a small expense, but over a month it can easily reach £80 to £120. Because of this, cooking at home and preparing your own drinks can save a significant amount of money each month. Transportation is another important part of the monthly budget. The UK has a well-developed public transport system, including buses, trains, and underground services in larger cities. In London, many residents use an Oyster card or contactless payment to travel on public transport. A monthly travel pass in London can cost around £150 to £220, depending on the zones you travel through. In cities outside London, transportation is usually cheaper. For example, a monthly bus pass in cities like Manchester or Birmingham may cost around £60 to £100. Some people prefer to own a car, but this can be much more expensive. Car owners need to pay for fuel, insurance, road tax, and sometimes parking fees. Fuel costs alone may be around £120 to £200 per month, depending on how much you drive. Car insurance in the UK can also be quite expensive, especially for new drivers or younger people. Because of these costs, many people prefer using public transport to save money. In addition to the major expenses, there are also smaller monthly costs that are still important to consider. One of these is your mobile phone plan. In the UK, SIM-only plans are very common and usually cost around £10 to £25 per month. If you have a phone contract that includes a new smartphone, the monthly payment may range from £30 to £60. Many people also subscribe to digital services for entertainment. Platforms like Netflix, Spotify, and Amazon Prime are very popular in the UK. Each subscription may cost around £10 to £20 per month. While each service seems inexpensive, having multiple subscriptions can increase your monthly expenses by £40 or more. Another cost that surprises many newcomers is council tax. Council tax is a local tax used to fund public services, such as waste collection, schools, and police. The amount you pay depends on the property value and the local council. For a small apartment, council tax usually ranges from £100 to £180 per month. Students are often exempt from paying council tax, which helps reduce their living expenses. In shared houses, the council tax may sometimes be included in the rent. Apart from essential expenses, people also spend money on entertainment and lifestyle activities. Living in the UK offers many opportunities for social activities, travel, and leisure. Gym memberships typically cost around £20 to £50 per month, depending on the gym and location. Cinema tickets usually cost around £10 to £15 per person. If you enjoy going out with friends, visiting attractions, or traveling within the UK, your entertainment expenses could be around £100 to £250 each month. When we combine all of these expenses together, we can estimate the total monthly cost of living in the UK. For a single person living outside London, the monthly budget may look something like this. Rent may cost around £700 to £900. Utility bills may be around £180 to £300. Groceries may cost about £200 to £300. Transportation could be around £70 to £120. Phone and subscriptions may be around £20 to £50. Council tax could be around £100 to £150. Entertainment and personal spending may add another £100 to £200. Altogether, the total monthly cost for a single person outside London usually falls between £1,400 and £2,000. However, if you live in London, the total monthly cost can be much higher. Depending on your rent and lifestyle, living in London may cost anywhere between £2,200 and £3,500 per month. This leads to another important question. How much salary do you actually need to live comfortably in the UK? For someone living outside London, a yearly salary of around £28,000 to £35,000 is generally considered enough for a modest but comfortable lifestyle. In London, many professionals aim for a salary of at least £40,000 to £50,000 per year because of the higher living costs. Of course, these numbers can vary depending on your lifestyle, the type of housing you choose, and your personal spending habits. Some people manage to live on a smaller budget by sharing accommodation and controlling their expenses carefully. Understanding the cost of living before moving to the UK is extremely important. Proper financial planning can help you avoid stress and make your transition to life in the UK much smoother. Rent will usually be the biggest expense, followed by utilities and food. But with smart budgeting and careful spending, it is definitely